What's up guys, DK here with Collector's Impact, and today is going to be kind of a random video for what I usually do on the channel. Since I've been opening a lot of Strixhaven recently, and I've fallen in love with the set, you guys. It's such an amazing set in terms of its art and in terms of the overall gameplay mechanics, and it's such a good set that I wanted to go ahead and make a top 10 favorite card video. So with that, I have chosen out 10 cards from the set that I personally find to be awesome for one of two or both reasons. The first, of course, being its gameplay mechanic, and the second being its overall presentation. So this is definitely not a definitive top 10 sort of a list. This is just my opinion, and definitely feel free to share your favorite top 10 cards in the comments section. Let me know if you agree with these, disagree, or whatever. This is pretty much just for fun. Some of these cards I don't actually own yet. I will be getting them, so for those, I'll have a picture up on the screen. So here at number 10 is Multiple Choice. This is just such a wonderful flavored card in terms of a school setting, right? Everybody's taking their multiple choice exams, so these are not bad choices at all. So I'll go ahead and read the cards just in case you're viewing this podcast style where you kind of have it setting in the background or whatever, so that you don't have to strain your eyes and see the little text. I'll go ahead and read it to you. So multiple choice is 1 blue and X. And if X is 1, scry 1, then draw a card. If X is 2, you may choose a player, and they return a creature they control to their owner's hand. And if X is 3, create a 4/4 blue-red elemental creature token. And if X is 4, do all of the above. So everybody who was always struggling on those exams, you circled D, all of the above, and just move on. So anyway, that's kind of a fun card, that's for sure. And in opening 2 boxes of cards, I didn't even pull one, so that's kind of interesting to note as well. All right, card number 9 on my list is the Poet's Quill. This card, its artwork is incredible. Truly love it. The moment that I saw it, I was like, oh my god, that is so nice. Kind of hard to see on camera, especially in the little case, I guess, but in the full art foil version, and the way that the candle and flames shimmer and shine, and the quill and everything, it's just so flavorful, you guys. Anyway, it costs 2 mana. It's an equipment, 1 black, 1 colorless. And when it comes into play, you get to learn. So that's awesome right there. And equip creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink, and you equip it for a black and a colorless. Insane in green-black, I can only imagine. I've been using these types of cards in MTG Arena recently, and it's just so much fun, you guys. Coming in at number 8 is the Blade Historian. Costs 4 mana. They're hybrid mana. Red and white 4 hybrid manas. And it's a 2/3 human cleric where attacking creatures you control have double strike. So yeah, double strike is one of the sickest abilities in the game, in my opinion. When that was introduced, it was pretty groundbreaking, and it's still pretty disgusting. Coming in at number 7, we have the Rowan, Scholar of Sparks, and you turn it over, and it's the Will, Scholar of Frost. This is a double-sided Planeswalker, and in its full art variant, Rowan is looking classy, you guys. That artwork is insane. I'm loving it. This is one of my favorite Rowan cards by far in terms of artwork, presentation. The ability is not bad either. For 3 mana, she comes into play with 2 loyalty counters, and it has the ability that's permanently there. Instants and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And her other ability, +1, Rowan deals 1 damage to each opponent. If you've drawn 3 or more cards this turn, she does 3 damage to each opponent instead, which in blue and red is not hard to do, especially with these newer super power creep type cards these days, right? And her -4 ability, you get an emblem with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay 2. If you do, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So you can fork every spell, essentially. And her brother on the back, coming in at 5 mana with 4 loyalty counters. Instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast, so same thing. And he gets +1 loyalty up to 1 target creature has base power and toughness of 0-2 until the end of turn, so he can make your opponent's creatures weak as heck. You -3 to draw 2 cards, or -7, exile up to 5 target permanents. For each permanent exiled this way, its controller creates a 4/4 black and red elemental creature token. Wow. Alright, and number 6 is another Planeswalker, good old Professor Onyx, Liliana here, legendary Planeswalker. And she is not double-sided, it's just her in all of her glory, her Professor McGonagall wannabe self there. And she has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain, they lose 2 life, and you gain 2 life. And then she comes into play with 5 loyalty counters for 6 mana, 2 black, 4 colorless. At a loyalty counter, you lose 1 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Pretty good. And -3, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. And -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life and repeat the process 6 more times. Yeah, so overall, pretty disgusting. And the artwork is phenomenal. Coming in at number 5 is the Biblioplex. It needs no intro as it is the mat for the video. This is definitely one of my favorite cards in the set. The artwork is next level in terms of its flavor and its homage to the Library of Alexandria, which is really nice. And its ability is kind of like that as well. It comes into play untapped, which is great, and you can tap it right away to add a colorless, or you can pay 2 and tap it. Look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If it's not, you can put it into the graveyard, or you can choose not to. You can just leave it on the top, which is nice to have that option. And you can only activate this ability for the land if you have 7 cards or no cards in your hand. So at least you get a little bit more flexibility with it. It makes being in top deck mode a little more tolerable if you can pull that instant or sorcery. So the fact that it doesn't come into play tapped is one of the pretty big sellers on this for me. And number 4 is the Sedgemoor Witch. She is a 3/2 human warlock for 3 mana, 1 black, 2 colorless. She has Menace and Ward of pay 3 life. So if you want to target her, or if your opponent wants to target her rather, they have to pay 3 life in order to do it. And her main ability is Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when the creature dies, you gain a life. She, for 3 mana, wow. What a good card to have, and it's not even legendary. And number 3, this is one that I want pretty badly. This is the Japanese variant of Time Warp from the Mystical Archive subset. Yeah, I mean, the card's flavor is well over 9,000. Vegeta would be very proud because it's incredible. I definitely want this in foil, preferably. But right now, since the set is still pretty new, it commands quite a high price tag. So I'm just waiting to see if that comes down any, and I will be picking that card up. Oh yeah, and for anyone who may not know, Time Warp is, it costs 5 mana, 2 blue, 3 colorless, and you get to take an extra turn after this one. So it is a more expensive version of the Power 9 card Time Walk. You really can't get much better than that. And in slot number 2 for the set, this is currently the heaviest hitting set in terms of price, the Japanese variant for Demonic Tutor, which of course Demon Tutor is a very classic card from the original Alpha Beta Unlimited expansion. 1 black, 1 colorless, sorcery, search your deck for any card you want and put it into your hand. Boom. Alright guys, and for me, this is definitely the number 1 card in the set. Its power level is ridiculous. The fact that it's colorless and can be used in any deck, wow. Yeah, so that would be Explore the Vast Lands and Wandering Archaic. It's one of those double-sided cards. So the first side is a sorcery. It costs 3 mana. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library, reveals a land card and or an instant or sorcery card from among them, then puts the cards they revealed this way into their hand and the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. Each player gains 3 life. So you can get each player, that's the only drawback, that you can get up to 2 cards with that and gain some life. So that's really good for only 3 mana. But the real thing here is the back side of it, or I guess this is technically the front side of it. Wandering Archaic for 5 mana. It's a 4/4 avatar. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you can copy the spell and you choose new targets for the copy. So they have to pay extra mana for every single spell, or you just basically get to straight up copy them, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's incredible. For only 5 mana, with any sort of mana ramping cards at all, you can get this out turn 3, turn 4, and it's such a nuisance or a headache for your opponent if they don't have a quick solution for it. And even if they do, if they don't pay the extra 2, you get to use their solution on something else, so it's just such a good card. And then really quickly, I have a couple of honorable mentions, and the first one here is an uncommon card called Fracture. And it's just a black and a white, instant, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. It's a really good card, but aside from that, the artwork is so good on this card, at least to me. It really speaks to me, the whole shattered mirror and the different facial expressions. The artist did a great job on this. Like, you've got sadness, anger, fear, happiness, and I don't know what the squinted eyes together one is. Maybe that's like suspicion, I don't know, but it's such a cool card. Lastly, in terms of an actual good card that is worth collecting, in my opinion, we've got the Japanese alternate art variant for Harmonize. This one in particular is the foil, and my goodness, is that card beautiful or what? I will likely be getting this particular card graded and slabbed. It's just so nice. And it reminds me of Zelda. And the last card that I will mention is kind of a bad card, at least if you ask me. It costs 3 mana, Secret Rendezvous, and it is a sorcery. You and target opponent each draw 3 cards, but the artwork on the card is just so dang nice. It's like, I think it's Rowan, and I'm not sure who the other character is, and they're just chilling on the lawn at school in the sunset, going over whatever they're plotting in their secret rendezvous. It's just a really flavorful card, but it's not particularly good because it helps your opponent out so much. Well, guys, that concludes my top 10 favorite cards from Strixhaven. Let me know what you guys think, and like I mentioned before at the beginning of the video, definitely feel free to post your top 10 favorite cards and why in the comment section below. It would be nice to see what you guys have to say and see what everybody else thinks out there. So thanks again for coming by and checking out the video. If you liked what you saw, again, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. And I hope to see you again next time. Take care.